I give you my life. You're having your lunch on the lunch break with KYOK. Expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how do we the Miami Heat of football? Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from that. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go.
What's going on, man? You need me to call in? Okay, all right. I'm going to shut it down.
Game over. All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's our Team Texas Tuesday. Man, it feels like a big old strong Wednesday or Thursday for me right now. That's how fast this week is flying already. And, man, I got my brother like no other joining us right here on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Garrick Jones. What's going on, sir?
Man, not a whole lot, man. Just moving and grooving. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. Glad to be here. Another day that the Lord has made. You know what we're supposed to do in it. You're looking wise and salt and peppered up. What's going on?
As always, man, this is nothing but knowledge, man. I'm soaking it up, man. So every time you see me, it'll be a little more fuller, a little more gray. You know, we working, man. We putting it together.
I feel you. I have to shave mine down, man, because I would look more salty than I would peppered. So, man, you keep doing what you're doing, Doc. Yours looks real good.
It's coming, man. I want it to be all great, man.
What? For real?
Yeah, man. We gotta have that. That's knowledge. That's wisdom, man. That's me.
I hear you, Doc. I hear you. Garrick Jones joining us here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I wanted to get him back in today because, man, there is a lot going on in the world of sports, especially NFL related. You know, Bill O'Brien got on and was talking end of last week about how clean the facility is, how it's probably the safest place in the city. Said you could eat off the floor and everything like that. Listen, I'm going to take his word for that eating off the floor. You know, you cats come off that field, pull them cleats off and them socks off, and be walking around that floor. I bet he won't eat off that joker. I bet he won't.
Man, hey, I mean, it's time. It should have been like that, man. It's unfortunate that we're in this position, but I mean, it's making everybody do what they should have been doing in the beginning, man. Let's take care of things, man. Just clean up, man. It's time,
Yeah, J.J. Watt was talking about feeling like he was on the Starship Enterprise because the doors will scan you and make sure that you face recognition. Make sure you're supposed to be able to get into that room, and then if you are, it'll open up and let you in without you having to touch it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and that's in essence what needed to happen. And guys are starting to see it. So it's one of those deals, man. It's like I say, it's just time, man. I think that the NFL is trying to make those strides and putting their money where their mouths are, and that's really good because you got to make sure that these athletes are safe and the fans are safe. And I think they're doing an admirable job. It's a learning curve with this thing, man. So hopefully we can get it figured out and run with it.
Well, I don't mean to be, I don't want to call myself Debbie Downer, but I don't mean to be Dre Dog Downer. I hope they're not taking a victory lap yet. I mean, I know
no. Yeah.
Brian said 0 positive tests on Corona here recently, but I've been saying it all along. Unless you have that controlled environment, kind of like they do in basketball,
right?
And you just don't know. And I'm not saying guys are going to be out doing the wrong things. Folks always think somebody was out doing the wrong thing. You could just be out doing the right thing and to somebody else who had nothing to do with you doing the wrong thing. Now you got it. You're waiting on your test to come back, and you giving it to people while you're in that waiting period, and it goes bad like that, man. What do you think about the process and the way it's set up?
Man, it's I think everybody's still trying to learn about this deal, and figure it out and live with it. At this point, man, it's dangerous. It's something that we can't take lightly, especially in the professional sports world. Where there's so many different people that are involved with it, man. I mean, this is people's lives, their livelihoods, and this isn't anything you want to take lightly. So, not a victory lap yet. I mean, by any means.
Yeah,
I mean, because they don't know what this thing is, and it's the same situation with trying to send kids to school. You don't do that. You don't play Russian roulette with kids' lives like that, man. They have a long way to go, and this is nothing where they need to be guinea pigs.
Gee, I'm trying to tell you, I literally have to leave the kids out of the conversation because my blood starts boiling, man. I'm a whole different person when it comes to these kids, man. I get the professional athletes, I kind of get college. But high school on down, you about to make me change. What the Green Man say? Don't make me angry because you won't like me when I get angry.
Man, who you telling? And I have 3 of them, and we're not playing those games. No, we don't play those games. I mean, that's in essence about everybody, that have kids and just trying to figure this thing out. I mean, there hadn't been enough advancements in everything, and hadn't been enough consistency in the different stories and the different protocols and everything else that they have out there, man. It's not consistent enough, man, for us to really get behind it and say, hey, look, we got it under control, because I don't believe we do. And that's the scary thing about it, man. It's who knows, man,
Man, gee. And then you look at baseball, you got teams that have had to shut down because they've got double-digit positive cases. You got the Cardinals that couldn't play all weekend long. They had to cancel this week's game, but Major League Baseball is expecting them to play the Cubs this weekend. If I'm the Cubs, I'm like, nah, I ain't going in there. I ain't going in. Look, let me do the testing. I ain't even trusting you to tell me it's all right to go in. But it's just that serious, man. Am I overreacting, G, or what are we saying?
No, you're not, man. You're not at all. I mean, if I still was active, these would be my concerns, and they're valid concerns, man. I mean, you want to get out there, and as an athlete, you're programmed to push through pain, to play through any adversity, to do anything in order to be out there on the field, to be with your brothers and to entertain people and all those different things.
Right.
Man, this is life or death. This isn't a broke toe. This is real life, man. And this is, you don't come back from that, man. There's no reset buttons. From what I know, you get one, and that's the one we want to work with. So that's across the board for everybody, man. We have to have something in place in order to make sure that our people are going to be good, and that their families are going to be good in the event that these athletes begin to it's a demise of these athletes, because you never know what the deal is going to be, man.
Come on, man. We got to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Garrick Jones, former Houston Texan, former NFL player, CFL player, commissioner of the States Development Football League, and in the process of try to become the general manager of the Houston Texans or another NFL team. We'll be right back with him right after this on the lunch break.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change.
Good.
We can be the change.
Oh, okay, good deal.
You're right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
Yeah, we figured out how to mic it without having to be on the telephone.
I am a non-attorney
that'll work.
representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been
keeping up with you guys, man?
Are you one of the
doing a lot, man? I love it.
Trying to take it up another level, man.
There you go. Oh, trust me. It's all gonna come together, man. Trust me. We working hard right now. Oh man, it's about to be real good.
Chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even.
I mean, have you talked to Richmond Webb recently?
It's been a while. I mean, we went back and forth earlier, but I hadn't talked with him in a while.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just and nothing wrong. I'm just trying to see how he's doing.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
This is Jasmine Highsmith, and you're having a side of sports with your lunch here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
That's Jasmine Highsmith, daughter of legendary former Houston Oiler Alonzo Highsmith. One of these days, I'm gonna have to get you and Zoe on here together, man, and just get it going, man. That would be a great show, bro. That would
just let us go. You know, just let us go. Freestyle, man.
I'm gonna say that's exactly what I would do. Get you all here together and just sit back and just record, man, because I already know that's gonna be all the way live.
Man, we got a lot of different things set up in that vein, and it's gonna be a cool little situation, man. That's why I say a lot of stuff is coming together. And it's really coming full circle, and I'm excited, man. It's we're having a good time with this thing, man.
Well, hey, man, I'm glad that you are pressing into it, man. Especially given everything that's going on. I was talking with a group of young people, and I'm like, please don't let this time have gone by.
Right.
You didn't make yourself better after it, you know, when it's over, because if you missed out on the time to really launch into something that you had a passion for, when are you going to get this kind of time again? So that's what I say about you, G. You are grinding hard. Tell everybody what's going on with your push to become general manager and a general manager, if not.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm strategically taking courses with people that scouted me, people that know of me and know of my career, and just aligning myself with the right people. I'm being mentored by John Wooten. He's the father, the godfather of the NFL, from what they call him.
Yeah.
He was really big in the Rooney situation with Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali and all those guys, man. And I'm just soaking it up, man. I'm dealing with Dr. Lynn Lashbrook, a few former NFL general managers. I have ties with Mike Tomlin out in Pittsburgh. We were out in Arkansas State together for a little bit, and that whole group out there, man, Randy Fichtner and Coach Butts and all those guys.
Yeah.
And we're kind of going back and forth, man. I'm playing chess with it, but also I'm being very strategic and intentional in what I'm doing. Right now I'm leading a diversity and inclusion webinar series, which is really a hotbed issue right now. And it's really those are the things that I'm gonna bring to the table. It's gonna be so diverse that how can they deny me? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those deals like, man, listen, I'm able to connect with the fans, able to connect with former players and current players, and understand the dynamics of diversity and inclusion and all those different things, man. I'm actually about to get ready to finalize my situation as far as being a sports agent. So that way I know it from all angles, man. I mean, how can they beat you if they can't outwork you,
And that's what I love about what you're doing, because you're literally your learning curve is not like this. You're going all the way around the table. So no matter which chair somebody's sitting in, you have a literal understanding of what role they play and how that can impact the bottom line and the brand and everybody involved. And that's nothing but major respect for you, man.
Appreciate that, man. I mean, it's in leadership, your leaders have to understand the workload of everybody. That's period, point blank, you know, because I can't ask you to do anything that I haven't done myself. And that's including stepping on the field. You know, it's a lot of people that are leaders that have never touched that field.
Never touched.
I know what it's like. You know, I know what it's like from 3 different leagues. I know what it's like to sleep in your car, chasing the dream and not knowing where the next gallon of gas is coming from.
Yeah.
I know all that, you know, and that's the beautiful thing about my situation. And that's what a lot of people are gravitating to, and they're buying into it, and they're understanding that, you know, I'm genuinely setting it up for me to understand everything about all of it. That way I'm not typecast. I'm not just dealing with one set of athletes. I'm dealing with all the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just, you know, football. This is basketball. This is MLB. I mean, I have a lot of different people that I've either played with or been coached by or I grew up with that have, you know, sons and daughters right now. And they're looking to say, hey, man, we want to be able to have you represent our athletes and our sons and our daughters. And I'm like, well, I'll have that set up. I don't know if that will be the final resting place for myself.
Yeah.
Because of the GM situation and the push, you know, that and the shift that's going on in the NFL right now.
Right.
But ultimately, I'll have it set up to where, you know, all of the things that have made me will be instilled in these companies that I have. And it's been a part of the plan since 2011 when I first started the S.D.F.L. You know, we first put it together, myself and Byron. So, man, it's time, man. It's just time. It's a good deal, you know.
G, I'm glad you're breaking it down like this because two things come out to me, and I'm going to ask them one at a time. Number one, folks, the casual fan has no idea what a brother like you or an Eric Bieniemy or some of the other black coaches and assistant coaches and coordinators, the work and the preparation that y'all put in before you ever sit down in the chair at the desk with the name badge on it of GM or assistant coach or what have you. So they think, you know, when they see a guy like the guy that went from Texas Tech to the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, they see him go, never had a winning record in college, was on off to being a coordinator at another college, and all of a sudden he done leapfrogged everybody else as a head coach in the NFL, and then they shrug that off as well. You know, hey, at least he did this, at least he did that. But when it comes to a brother like you, it says, well, maybe he needs to go and prove himself in a lesser role or a lesser league. But they have no idea the kind of work that you put in and the study and the classes and all that you're doing. You know, you shouldn't get passed over. You should be at that table, even playing field with everybody else.
Yeah, you should be, but unfortunately, that's not the case. You know, and that's been like that, you know, since we got here. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's one of the things that you can't allow to dictate what you do, right? You got to understand that, you know, for us, we have to work twice as hard for half of what other people get. It just is what it is. But I wouldn't have it any other way because when it comes down to it, you got to beat me, and that can't happen. That will not happen. If you put me in the helm in any position, whether it's on the field or whether it be front office aspects of it, you do not want to face a team I put together. I promise you that, because that team is going to take on my mentality. And when you got my mentality across the table from you, you got problems.
Yes, sir.
And that's just what it is. And that's what it's always been.
What I like about you, G, you're not asking for an unfair advantage over somebody else. You're saying, let me get on the field and let's see what happens. Just allow me to earn my way to the field and let's see what happens. And for you now, the field has gone from being a player to being in another league, CFL, to starting another league. And now you're saying, listen, I need to be in the boardroom as a general manager of the Texans or another NFL team. And I'm feeling you.
Yeah, brother, that's what it is, man. I refuse to take an unfair advantage. That's an asterisk. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from, that's an asterisk. I don't care. You know, that's what it is. It is what it is. I mean, it's kind of like when I first went to the CFL. You know, they weren't drug testing. There's guys up there that were juicing and this and that and the third. And when I got up there, guys were like afraid of these guys because they were just big. They were just menacing people. But what happened was, I'd get out there and I'd do my thing, and I tell them, really quickly, you need to go get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
You got gypped.
Uh-huh.
You got a bad batch of the roids, in all honesty.
Wow.
And that's my mentality, man. I mean, I refuse to be beat, and that's just what this thing is. Once somebody sits down with me and they get it, I'll have them where they're ready to run through a brick wall by the end of that meeting. So I'm not worried about that. But my thing is making sure that when they look at the paper trail, they look at what I've done, they look at the body of work, they look at the on-the-job experience that I have from playing in so many different leagues for so many years. They say, hey, listen, we might need to look at this guy because I'll change your bottom line. It's like a coach told me before, if you stick with me, I'll make you win. Period. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta all hail the king, the queen. All hail the queen. We got that is joining us, and I'm mad at her because she done put up just a little picture. We need to see JT. We need to see you, Jay Anderson. She is a. Go ahead.
We're having a storm here in New York, so my signal is not the best. So that's why I'm not joining you like I would like to, and not being able to, y'all coming in with the smooth heads and beards. What we on lockdown? How y'all look this good? I got a beanie on. I haven't had a facial in 6 months. And y'all up here looking like the kings of Zamunda.
Absolutely.
During the lockdown.
Gotta be able to do it.
But let me tell you who we're rocking with. We're rocking with one of the baddest international models there are. She's a former sports broadcaster. She knows her business on and off the runway. She knows her business around the print. She knows her business in between the hash marks. She knows her business on the basketball court. She's a former athlete herself. So, y'all, I'm glad to have Jay Anderson join us in the conversation. We got Garrick Jones also joining us. And, again, we got people who have had to, fight the good fight. Like, Jay, you can talk about what you've had to do in that modeling world. You can talk about what you had to do as a woman in sports. And how a lot of people, didn't necessarily give you the credit. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background, Jay.
Well, you kind of said it for the people, and it was a lovely intro, but to speak to that, I'm just a little girl from the South who had a big dream and has tried my best to make every aspect of them possible. And I think to speak to my background, more or less, I'm from Bossier City, Louisiana, which a lot of people have no clue where that is. It's in a swamp. And, I always had something in me that said there has to be more to life than me growing up and just saying, well, grew up in the swamp. And I think that's the biggest thing I would ever say about my background is I'm just a little girl from a small town who wanted something better. And I think when you have that in you, especially being an African-American woman, you already know from the word go, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't even tell you, where the peak of that is. You try to find a comparison, but even though those who you think have gotten to their peak or have broken a glass ceiling, they're still not at what would be the top for your average person. Because I grew up, admiring Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks, and they still get told no. I grew up, Lisa Salter and African-American women who work in sports broadcasting, they still have hurdles. And, there's so many that, I have known personally, and having to hear the things that they still go through. You never really can say, here is where I am. I'm at the peak. I've done it all, because there's still a constant fight every day.
But see, and that's what I love about both of y'all. It's a constant fight every day. But like, y'all going in not to get a draw. Y'all going in not to just win a round. Y'all going in to make an example that, listen, y'all keep fighting me if you want to. I'm going to keep winning, and I'm going to keep winning in a big way. You left that little town in Louisiana and went all the way to New York City. Garrick, what? Town in Arkansas?
North Little Rock, yes, sir.
North Little Rock, all the way to the NFL, and literally got into owning a professional league. So that and Tim, I'll let you go first. What did it mean to you to see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson buy the XFL? I mean, literally bought a professional football league.
Man, that was big, knowing of his background, the route he had to take, how he had to build it, his brand, everything that he was about, and understanding the people that he surrounded himself, with. And to be able to go back and catch and have a break like that, to purchase a league, with his team, that's very diverse.
Right.
It's really a good situation. I'm very happy for it because it gives, the athletes, the coaches, and the fans another opportunity to cheer. Right now we need that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have reached out to me and sent me messages. Anything that goes on with other leagues, people are reaching out to me and saying, hey, this is happening, this is going on. And I'm for it because truth of the matter is it doesn't matter how many leagues there are always going to be more athletes than there are leagues, period, point blank. And that's the thing. You want to be able to have those types of leagues around, and as long as it's done the right way, which I think they will put their best foot forward to really put a product out there on the field, but also off the field. Yeah. I hope that they really get into that intentional teaching of the athletes and their families and the things that we really focus on. Because truth be told, we are very close to putting some things out there. I got a couple of groups that I'm talking with right now that are very interested in the whole dynamic of our league and what we do. So I'm looking forward to making some big announcements and seeing what goes on because it's just good for everybody. And especially with that diversity and us doing what we do, you can't beat that, man. I love it.
Yeah. JT, what's your thoughts about that brother and his diverse team going out and buying a viable, professional football league?
I think it's great. I think it allows for the world to see a Black person be a part of something this big. I think that's beautiful to have that visibility. I love the fact that The Rock is very strategic. His ex-wife, Dani Garcia, who is a business powerhouse. She is definition of boss. And I think with her having her hands in that pot, and then having him being at the forefront, I think they're definitely destined for greatness. If everything goes right, like everybody would want it to. But I also think that it's a great opportunity that hopefully will allow for them to stretch their wings into more things, to create more opportunities for Black people, people of color, women, and bring that diversity, because I'm pretty sure, again, because they are so strategic, if their leadership is as diverse as it is, I feel like everything that they're going to put their hands in with this will be just as diverse. And I think the long-term opportunities that it's going to create could be tremendous. And again, you're giving fans another opportunity to cheer for sports, because when the XFL came about initially, I was excited, and then all of a sudden it's gone. The AFL came, you get all excited, and then all of a sudden it was gone. Like they were great games, and I just hope that it, not only with the league bringing it in, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a TV show or something behind it, because that's just who The Rock is.
Yep.
He's an entertainer, so I really think that they'll be able to really make a really good bridge between sports and entertainment while creating opportunities for so many people. So I'm excited to see what they do. I need to find somebody who work over there and be like, hello, I'm available.
Right.
Hello.
And it's funny you say that because, and G, you can speak to this, JT, you can speak to this. I'm gonna let you go first, JT. I'm ready to see the major networks and the leagues get the women off the sideline. You're more than just a sideline reporter. You can be up in the booth calling the play-by-play. You can be up in the booth doing the color analyst. And by the way, you can be in that front office too. And I'm not talking about the head of diversity and HR. I'm talking about GM, VP, you name it. Why not? JT, what do you think?
I definitely think it's time for that. I think, we finally have women coaching on the field. So I definitely think it's definitely time to have a female GM. I think Amy Trask should not be the one-off story for a century. She should not be the one-off story, and not every owner has to be Al Davis, but open your minds. Think about these things. Like, think about the value that these women bring, not only to to your bottom line in your pockets, but to the morale and to the strategic positioning of your players. Open your minds. I don't think that it should be that hard, And for Amy Trask to probably be one of the only women you really can think of off the top of your head to have as much power as a woman within the NFL, within sports, period. They need to do better.
Yeah. Garrick, to her point, man, when you think about what she's saying, you got Amy Trask, you got Jeannie Buss, and she had to fight to get, and she had to literally steamroll her brother. You got Georgia Benson, Miss Georgia Benson, who's running the Saints, but her husband had to die for her to get that. I mean, literally, if the league is not going to change the way it is, we got to be more willing to go out and invest what we got to do to invest in our own league so we can have these kind of diversities.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've already been doing that since 2014.
Garrick Jones owns the S.D.F.L, States Developmental Football League, and has owned it for going on 10 years now. It is a very, very unique and interesting league from their standpoint. So you got a black man owning the whole league right here on the line with us, JT.
Oh yeah, yeah. We started this situation. This is everything that's going on is really old hat, for us, because we already understood what needed to happen. But when you have eyeballs on you and you have the notoriety, you have all these different things, all of a sudden it's new news. This is old stuff to me. More or less for our league is about 30 to 40% women, and we have our own women's developmental football league. And they will be in a position to take care of their families with what they're doing on the field. So that's a part of the plan. It's been a part of the plan. However, what we've done is brick by brick from the ground up, the same way my career has been. That's the approach, because you want to have that foundation. A lot of this stuff is not foundational because it's the same old product, unfortunately. And that's what I want, The Rock and his group to understand. Fans are good, but they're fickle. If you promise that you're going to fill a void when the NFL is not playing, your players had better damn well be NFL caliber players. Outside of that, if the fans don't get it and they say, hey, listen, this guy's throwing the ball all over the place, this and this, they'll leave. And when that dollar leaves, these leagues have to fold. But for us, the way we put it together, it's about our players first and then their families after that. And then we get into the fanfare. We make sure that these players are in a position to take care of their families for generations to come, which these other leagues don't. It's about X's and O's on the bottom line, and that's done. We can't do that anymore.
JT, Garrick Jones joining us here on the lunch break. JT Anderson, Jay Anderson, international model, a former sports broadcaster. She says she like calling herself little girl from the swamp in Louisiana. I'm just saying she's all that. I'm so glad to be able to call her my friend. Garrick Jones, former Houston Texan, former Atlanta Falcons CFL player, and founder and commissioner of the S.D.F.L, in the process of becoming a general manager in the NFL. So glad to have you both on my show. Let's talk like we at the family reunion. We done sat down, we done played cards, we done played dominoes, we done ate, like we just talking at the family reunion. I love black ownership, especially on a professional sports level. We just have so few of that.
Right.
But just like the Buy Black initiative that's going on all around the country, we don't want folks to settle for less than product, less than service, right, and that. JT, I'm gonna let you go first. How come it's so important for us to do superior rather than just mediocre? We can't get away with that. Am I off base?
No, not at all. We have to be better. We always have to be better. I remember being maybe like 15, 16 and met a girl who's a model, and she lived in Houston. And the very first thing that she even told me, she was like, as a black girl, you're going to have to be skinnier. You're going to have more personality. You're going to have to do this. And And even growing up, performing since I've been probably dancing and performing since I was 4 years old. I've always known I had to be better than, because my extreme best, they could be, anybody else around me could be mediocre, but I still had to be the best, because if I wasn't the best, then my best was only as good or equal to their mediocre. We have to show up and show out no matter what. Is it fair? Absolutely not. However, that's the hurdle in front of us. And I think for us as a people, I think we have to continue to hold ourselves to that standard, because when we fall off that standard of showing up and showing out and being the best of the best, even if we're surrounded by mediocrity, you never want to give people the excuse to say, well, it's who they are.
Yeah.
If our who they are is always the best, then we can never, however mediocre they are, will never matter, because we're showing up with our best. So when we argue amongst ourselves about, well, so-and-so was mediocre and I can never be mediocre. Well, we know that that's the fight in front of us. How are you going to show up to the fight? If you know your opponent, what you have to do is best prepare to beat your opponent, not sit there and overanalyze your opponent. Because while you're talking about how mediocre they are, they're just looking at you not being able to bring your best.
Yeah, Garrick, piggyback on top of that, we don't often get a second chance to make not a first impression, but a good impression. So, you who have started what you've started, you who have done what you're doing, and you who are literally coming in, kicking the door open, you're not asking them to let you in. You're like, what y'all gonna do?
Yeah. No. That's a mentality we have to have. I mean, I learned that from playing sports. It didn't matter about if, when I was playing a team, I had a coach say, listen, I can give the other team our playbook, but they still got to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all my plays. I don't care. You got to stop me, and that's just, I will impose my will. And that's a training camp mentality. Like, I've sent many men home, in order to make that 53-man roster. And a lot of people have never done that before. And they can't even think about, physically and mentally being stronger than somebody else in order to feed your family. And that's the thing that my mentality on it. Whatever situation you put me in, I'm going to bring my best, and that should be the bar. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I'm black, white, purple, green, avatar. It don't matter.
Yeah.
We need to have this service. We need to be doing this. We need to be doing that, and it's common sense. It's like, hey, unfortunately, common sense isn't so common, but for me, that's a standard. You have to have a standard in everything you do. How you do one thing is how you do everything, and that's just what it is, man. I mean, if you're going to be lazy, you're probably going to be lazy in a lot of other stuff that you do, and that's just common sense. But a lot of people don't get it. And a lot of people want to label a lot of different things. I mean, I understand it, if you want to label it or whatever. But for me, the standard is high. The bar is high. It's like my kids. They don't have a chance in hell to be lazy.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. It's like I learned how to work for my parents, and they're learning how to work for me, but they're going to do their own thing. They don't have to play sports. They don't have to play this, but they're going to be good in everything that they do because they saw the work ethic and what it takes in order to be successful. And that's everything I'm trying to do in life right now, man. It's simple, man. We tend to make things hard.
Yeah. JT, let me ask you this, and Garrick, I want you to piggyback on this as well.
Yeah.
And, especially you, JT, coming from, that part of Louisiana that I'm very familiar with, by the way. Did you ever think that we would see a kind of movement that we're seeing that's literally on the college level? I love when I see what the Pac-10 players are united and talking about doing. When I see what TCU did on a moment's notice. In the morning, they heard coach did this. By the afternoon, they were like, we ain't playing. We're not playing until you apologize, you do this, you do that. Did you ever think you would see this kind of mobilization around racism, social injustice, and economic injustice and things like that?
No, not at all. No. You hope to, but no. And honestly, for me, I can remember in high school and having to deal with certain teachers who did that and having to be able to combat those things. And, I've dealt with many racist teachers who have to come back and do the apology tours to high school students. And we were like, we don't care. So I'm happy to see that the resistance is going strong, especially with my generation and younger generations that are over it. We're just over it. And it's like, you're not going to use us anymore. We're not just going to roll over and allow you to treat us this way, talk to us this way, because if you're comfortable doing this, who knows what you'll do next.
Right.
Let me just say this. One of my homeboys posted a picture at a protest. And man, I got tears in my eyes because that sign spoke to my heart. It spoke to my generations. It spoke to my ancestors. The sign said, "You have blanked with the last generation." And man, I told him, I said, bruh, I need this to be true. And whether y'all take the lead or not, I'm behind y'all. I'm with y'all. Because, man, my grandfather fought this fight. My parents fought this fight. My great-grandparents fought this fight. I need this to be the last generation that they mess with like this. So, JT, I appreciate what you said. You reminded me of that. But, Garrick, for a point, coming from where you came from, did you ever think we would see something like this going on?
No, not at all. Because you grow up seeing it. And this is a conversation I had with my counterpart, for my webinar tonight. She was asking me, just is 60 years or so ago, this is the same. We're back talking about civil rights and just these different things. It's like it's full circle again. And one thing that I impressed upon her was I was like, you're learning it now. Because you're Caucasian, white. You were never taught this. You were never exposed to it. And she was like, yeah, and we just been watching all the movies and we've been getting versed up on it. And I told her, quite frankly, I lived it. And I was like, my mom lived it, and I woke up fitting the description. I was brought into this world fitting the description, and it's nothing new to me. But I knew that a change was coming, and the shift that's happening right now. It's a major shift, but it never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that it would happen the way it's happening, and the sacrifices that have been made for it to happen, those types of things. But no, right now, the youngsters are doing what they're supposed to do. Yeah. And that's just basically to piggyback off what Jay said, we're tired, and it's just, we are tired and we're going to hold you accountable, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. JT, your thoughts when people tell athletes like LeBron, like Colin Kaepernick, like some of the other guys, just shut up and play. What goes through your heart? What goes through your mind when you hear stuff like that or you read stuff like that on social media?
My initial feelings are always rage, because that, to me, when people say, "Oh, politics have no place in sports," maybe not. But these are men. These are Black men. These are Black people of color. When they come off that field, that court, or whatever, that jersey means very little to someone who hates them just because of who they are, just because of the color of their skin. So to tell them that they don't have a right to speak up about things that affect their lives, whether it be professional, personal, whatever, you have no place for your personal opinion in sports. That's my thought. Because when Colin Kaepernick takes off that jersey, when LeBron James takes off that jersey, he is still a Black man. And not only are they Black men, but they're Black men with Black families that they have to protect.
Right.
If he doesn't feel safe walking down his street, then what? And then I also want people to, when they with that opinion who say keep politics out of sports, there was a Black athlete who was literally beat by the police and won a court case here in New York. And there's video. They beat this man down.
Yep.
For nothing, just because he was Black.
Yeah.
He won the lawsuit. So to say that politics has no place in sports is a load of crap.
Yeah. I mean, I can't add nothing to that. Take that away. Garrick, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I played on the highest level. What's it like to be cheered when you got the jersey and the shield and the emblems on the side of the helmet, but as soon as you take that stuff off and you in the right place doing what you're doing and you get treated like you're wrong, what is that like, man? People don't understand that's something real that we deal with.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You know, it's a frustrating situation because, you know, when you're out on the field and you're in front of 100,000 fans and they're elated that you are entertaining them, to go from those cheers to now jeers when you leave is something that is very conflicting in athletes, and it's something that, you know, will give you a complex, and that's why a lot of athletes, especially ball players, I'll say football players, guys don't want to come out from up under the helmets because they understand that dynamic. And that's why a lot of guys kind of, you know, just fade away into obscurity after their NFL careers. You know, a lot of people think it's because of the concussions, and which it is. But it's that, you know, and that's the elephant in the room that we are starting to address now. Because when you really think about it, we are people. You know, we are people like everybody else. I'm a grown man. I've been through a lot. You see this, Gray? I've been through a lot. You know, and my thing is this. When it comes down to politics and everything that goes along and comes with it, you know, I'm on top of it. You know, I want to make sure that, you know, I'm leaving this world in a better place than when I got here. And other athletes are just like that. So when you're young, it's a game. But when you are being paid for it, it's business. And fans unassumingly think it's still a game. And they don't get it. So it's all about exposure. Once you expose it, now it's about education, and that's when you get into the real movement. So we got to educate the fans just like we got to educate everybody else, because the fans need to understand that what they do is detrimental to these athletes as well, and vice versa. So we all in this thing together. Yeah. Just trying to figure out how to best work together in order to make that team work, you know, make the dream work.
Yeah. We got to get ready to shut it down. Before we do, I want to get you guys' thoughts on what happened this weekend in the NBA. Of course, you know, they opened up with the montage of social injustice, racism, police brutality. And then you saw players kneeling, wearing the Black Lives Matter T-shirts. Folks still can't separate the difference between the Black Lives Matter group and the Black Lives Matter movement, but there's a difference. We know that. JT, tell me what your thoughts were when you saw there was a player that did not stand. He said that was because of his faith. And then you had Greg Popovich and Becky Hammond that did not stand, but are so involved in the movement. What were your initial thoughts?
So my thoughts on the player whose name I will not say, who decided to use Jesus. Like, sir, Jesus would be right there on the front lines with us, marching, putting his life on the line to see people be treated fairly. That's what Jesus did. So to say that Black lives kneeling or having an opinion or whatever isn't in line with Jesus is just grossly incorrect. Because Jesus was an activist. So if you're a Christian, you are an activist. Every day that you wake up and you say and you praise God and you say that you're a Christian and you love Jesus, you are an activist. If you're a Christian and you're going to walk in your Christian truth, you are an activist. There is no, now that there's pretty clear cut. We know who Jesus was.
I mean, we're world changers. We're in the world, not of the world. So yeah, amen.
To ever use that as an excuse, I would have rather he said, my personal opinion, this is not for me. This is not how I feel like should be able to support the movement. I could respect that. But when you throw Christianity under the bus like that, that's not something I can respect. As far as Pop is concerned, maybe it was his knees. I don't know. But I also know as a coach, he still has to have some neutral ground with dealing not only with the media, the press, the front office, as well as trying to have respect with his players. So hopefully there was a conversation that he had with the team prior to this happening, prior to them going out, where everybody was on board and everyone knew what was going on. But I definitely could respect the fact that he said, you know, I can't at this particular time for XYZ reason, because he has always been in the fight and stood in the gap with us.
Yeah, his first answer, they were asking him about playing time on a player, and Pop went into an education of systematic racism with receipts. I mean, he brought examples, time frame, voting rights, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I had no problem with it. Garrick, let me take you in a whole nother direction real quick. The NFL is planning to play the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, week 1 before every single one of the games. Good idea? Or, bruh, please, your thoughts, honest thoughts.
It's reactive. It's what the NFL does. They're reactive. They're not proactive. They're not yet. I put it to you like that. We'll get a couple of us in there that are very proactive in a lot of these different things, but it's their attempt, which it is what it is. I think it's a conversation piece, which that helps. With the amount of people that see what goes on with the NFL, it's an attempt, and it's like I say, it gets the conversation started. But we are going to have to be more proactive in what goes on, and especially with the NFL, NBA, MLB, the whole 9 yards, because sports bridges the gaps. It doesn't matter what nationality, race, gender. When you're on that field or when you're on that court or wherever dealing with the teamwork aspect, you tend to forget in that moment, somebody's nationality. I'll put it to you like that. I got folks overseas right now I can call that don't look anything like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that we understand each other. But I think everybody has to understand what the common goal is and work toward that common goal. I think we got a lot of people looking at certain instances, and those are the focal points, and that's not the end game. What is the end game? Nobody's really understood what the end game in all of this is, and the NFL has to do a better job of it. And that's why I raise my hand. I'll go back into the lines then and do it all over again in order to make sure that we start to really look at the end game to make sure that everybody's going to be benefited in what's going on. But it's a conversation piece, man. It's a start, and that's just what it is, man.
I like that you said that. I said it yesterday. Folks act like kneeling and songs are the finishing move in a battle of Mortal Kombat.
Right.
This is the best shot right here. This is symbolic, but it's not all that's going on. So, man, I can't tell y'all how much I appreciated y'all doing what you did for us today. I know a lot of our listeners were blessed. Jay Anderson, tell everybody to find you and follow you with your awesome self.
Well, they can follow me on Instagram at fashionizing101. Or on Twitter at The Realist, and that's REALEST 007. And yeah, you can come on there. We can chat about football, fashion, whatever you want to talk about. Come on.
See, now you know what you're going to have to do. You got to come back when y'all not in the middle of a storm so everybody can see you.
I know. And if you could see, I have the windows open and it's so windy. All you hear is rain and sirens. It is crazy up here today.
Well, I'm definitely going to reach out to you about coming back on. Be safe up there, okay?
Awesome. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right. Love you so much. That's Jay Anderson. I call her JT. Look her up. She's got the real deal, and she's been doing it for a minute. So appreciate you. Garrick, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
Man, on IG, you can follow me at officially Garrick Jones. And then on LinkedIn at Commissioner GJ. And then you can check out, you can also search out the hashtag GJ for GM. And everything will pop up, man. It's simple. It's not hard. I'm around.
Yeah, I got to get you connected with Jay. She's done some amazing things, man.
Right.
They had like football, and I'm gonna get it wrong, but they had like football and fashion events back in the day, man.
We did.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Stuff, JT, you was rolling with some heavy hitters, baby.
We gotta do it.
So listen, y'all both stay safe. Again, thanks for dropping by the lunch break. We're blessed for your presence, and again, we'll be praying for you. Y'all keep doing great things. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Those are two of the best in their respective businesses, and I'm glad that they were able to drop by us today on the lunch break. Y'all look them up. I do have their Instagram information in the body of the show. But JT Anderson, follow her. Garrick Jones, you already know, family right there. So got to take a break. Get Sybil Wilkes on here with her update on COVID. No, I think we just missed Sybil. So we'll come back with her in the second hour. But let me take a quick break right here and give you a quick sports update. A three-pointer with about 7 seconds left to play gave the San Antonio Spurs their first loss of the restart of the finish of the 2020 season. They lost 132-130 to the 76ers last night. DeMar DeRozan dropped 30 on them, but it came in the loss. They'll try to bounce back when they host they'll host Denver and Orlando at 3:00 tomorrow. The Rockets going to take on Portland tonight, and Portland's one of those scrappy teams that, listen, don't overlook Portland, because the Portland that we're looking at right now is not the one that started the regular season. They got a lot of their players back healthy. So that'll tip off tonight, 8 o'clock Central. And then in just a minute, the Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings will jump right at 1 o'clock. You can say what you want to say about the Lakers, Todd. You were talking about the Clippers last night. Well, the Lakers clinched the number 1 seed in the West with a 116-108 win over Utah. So the Lakers, they don't have to do nothing else. They'll still be the number 1 seed in the West. NFL news, New Orleans announced that they're going to secure a hotel near their training facilities to use as a bubble-type environment. They're going to lock in their players, their coaches, their staff, and they will be there during the training camp so that everybody can stay healthy and safe. No word on if the Cowboys and the Texans will do the same. Astros in Arizona tonight at 8:10. Rangers versus Oakland tonight at 8:10. The St. Louis Cardinals, 13 more positive tests. They have postponed more games. Major League Baseball expects them to play this Friday against the Cubs. I am not in support of that. Not that it matters. And then, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bought the XFL $15 million. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm going to put my mask on and go to the open house so I can say, yo, what's up? If you smell, better yet, it doesn't matter. All right, y'all, I got to get ready to hit this top of the hour. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
That sound all right to me, y'all. I'm excited, y'all. I can't wait to see them.
1140 KYOK Conroe, Houston. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from that. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You haven't worked in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh, no, this game ain't over. It is getting going right now. That's first hour on the books, second hour under the way, right here on the legendary KYOK. I know that's Big Mike calling me. Big Mike, hold on 1 second. Let me get Willie Gibson real quick. He sent me something. And, Willie, I can't find my phone, man. So you got to tell me what you sent me because I don't know.
Oh, good. No, I just wanted to talk about Jonathan Isaac, the young man, the Orlando Magic player that chose not to kneel. And I think he's getting a tremendously raw deal as far as his reasons. funny because I've said this before. It's okay. Everybody agrees with you as long as you agree with them. Mm-hmm. And now he took a stance that, okay, I'm not going to kneel, and these are my reasons why. And it appears that he's getting ripped mercilessly for it. And it's like, why? How is it? Why is it that everyone else can kneel and this is their reason why, and that's okay? But now he's chosen not to, and because it's not the status quo, he's not going with the flow of everyone else, which is fine. But now it appears the problem is with him.
Yeah, you know what, and you know me, I've stated on the record that I have no problem with somebody deciding to do something other than what I believe, whether it's for a good reason, bad reason, or what have you. I think, and I'm gonna speak in reference to what J.T. Anderson said, Jay Anderson, who was just on the show. She was saying that if you look at his reasoning behind, Christianity, Black Lives Matter, and kneeling during the national anthem don't line up. I would argue that with him and not even as a pastor, but as a fellow believer. I would try to have the scripture says, come let us reason together. I would try to reason with him where that's really a very a very narrow view if you think that there's no correlation between those three things.
Well, what he said, and that's why I sent you his post game, what he said was, wearing a T-shirt and kneeling doesn't do it for me. That was his exact quote, and he says that. It doesn't do it for me. So that's his stance. He feels that there should be more done than just a knee and a shirt. That's okay because that's his viewpoint. But again, this is not to rip you or JT or anyone else.
No. And again, bro, wide open discussion here. So even if you called me and said you burning crosses and wearing sheets, I want to hear your point of view. That's the only way we can understand each other. I agree with you. Like you said in that post game message where he said that doesn't do it for him. Okay, because I'm not a fan of just kneeling and wearing shirts. We got to do more than just that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that was it. I just heard that. That's one to kind of, because I've heard that so much in the last 4 days, and it's like, man, how is it that we talked about this before. Athletes are fine as long as they agree with everyone else.
Yeah.
And when they don't, we have a situation such as this.
Yeah, we got no argument there. And again, like I said, even if he flat out disagreed with it and just like, nah, man, I ain't doing that. They didn't my thing. The football player that came out, my mama came from the islands and had to work her way up, and she brought 20 people, and I'm not kneeling. I don't care who agree. Okay, bro. Like, your need is not going to make the extra difference that we need to stop racism. So, just like we don't have to make a big deal about it, he don't have to make a big deal about not doing it. And that's what both sides are trying to do, make everything such a big deal that nothing is getting done.
Sure. Can I switch real quick and say one more thing?
No problem.
All right. I know we talked last week about Ohio. The High School Athletic Association started practice on Saturday.
Yeah.
They also brought out last night that one of the requirements and the governor is actually addressing it now, one of the requirements for high school athletes to play is that every player has to show proof that they tested negative within 72 hours for COVID-19, which to me is a precursor of we're not playing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
But see, I think what it is, politically speaking, they have to say that. So when they come back and cancel the season, it's a reason.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm looking further down the line. Part of me is like, okay, that's like having to get a physical before you can play. But, okay, I'm waiting to see what happens next. You're right.
Yeah, I don't believe they're playing based on that, even before that. But I think, again, that's just, connecting the dots, setting the table, that when they announce, hey, fall sports are canceled, here's the reason why.
I'm going to have to send you a check, bro. That's good news right there. I mean, that's good information right there. You roving, bro. You roving.
Listen. Billion is BILLI.
That man said billion starts with a B, bro. And my address is, my Cash App is right here. Can you PayPal $1 billion? Because if so, here go what you use for that right there.
Let's get it.
Will, I love you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, man.
Talk to you soon.
All right, bro. That's a good dude right there, man. That is a good dude right there, Willie Gibson. I appreciate him making the time to do what he does right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Let me go to the phone line. I think I got my brother all the way up there near P-Town. Is this Big Mike?
Yes, sir. What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, I had to get you on today, bro. I had to get you on today. In fact, are you near your computer? Can you come on video?
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Let me get ready to take a quick break. I'll send you the link, and I want you to come on video because you know I got to give you the business about the game tonight. You know I got to give you the business about Portland getting beat down by the Rockets tonight, right?
Getting beat down by who?
You heard me, man. I didn't stutter.
The Rockets?
You heard me, man. If I had stuttered, you would have heard it twice. Stay right there, man, and let me send you this link. We're going to get Big Mike on the deal. And Big Mike, go ahead and hang up because you don't have to be on the phone now. We got it set up where we'll have it mic'd up. So I'm going to send you the link. Come on as soon as you can so we can talk about Portland playing the Rockets.
Yes, sir.
Man, this is a good brother, man. I love a brother that I can call like that, man, and just and get him in. But, yeah, man, this is going to be fun tonight. This is going to be fun tonight. All right, so let me see. What did I do with the oh, man, I hope I can find it. Okay, there it is. I'm going to send him this real quick. Copy. I can't believe I left my phone outside. Who does that? What's the furthest you have gone back to get your phone? After you left your phone, what's the furthest you have gone back to get your phone? And you know what? Let me tell you how cool Big Mike is. I asked Big Mike to join, and then I gave him my cell phone number, and the cell phone's outside, and Big Mike remembered the number to the studio and called in. So I'm telling, that's a good brother right there. That's a good brother right there. And Willie Gibson's a good brother right there as well. All right, let me take a quick break. We'll come back with Big Mike. We're going to talk Portland and the Rockets. Going to talk about the Lakers. They clinched the #1 spot. Todd was trying to convince me that the Clippers were the best team in the West and Toronto is the best team in the East. And the Lakers were like, yo, hold my Fresca. hold my Fresca. Listen, we're only 3 games in to the 8-game restart, and the Lakers are just shut it down so that everybody else is playing for second and below. I ain't mad at them. I'm not mad at them. All right, let me take this break. We'll come back with Big Mike right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
I didn't know that God opened that door for you.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Be sure to tune in to Motivational Thursdays on Shiloh Radio, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., where you will be encouraged, inspired, and ignited on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM.
You're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. AJ Jones along with Big Mike. He rocking with them Portland Trailblazers. Po thing. Big Mike, what's going on, bro? Your mic is muted, man. I can't hear you, man. Turn your volume up. I'm gonna have to call you John Foster if your mic don't work. Oh man. Let me see. I know what he's doing. His mic really does work, but he don't want this beat down that they about to get. He don't want this. He don't want this smoke. Where Donna Coleman Holman? Donna, he don't want this work, Donna. He don't want to come get it. Let me see if I got you muted on my side. Look, I might have you muted on my side. Do that. Unmute. Nope. Do this if you could do two lines. Call me on the phone line while you on the thing, and let's we can do it that way. We can hear you on the phone because I need you on here. I was driving in. I said I need to get Big Mike on here today because he been telling me all season long, even before Rona hit. He was telling me, "Hey man, don't sleep on Portland. Don't sleep on Portland." Big Mike, is that you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. It's game time. What time is it? Game time.
Game time.
It's game time, man. What y'all gonna do tonight?
It's Dame time.
Oh, I see what you did there. You took the G and turned it into a D, so it rhymed with Mr. I Can Win Rap Battles, Damian Lillard. I'm waiting to see Damian Lillard on a versus Vanilla Ice or somebody like that.
Hey, man, first off, we're not going to disrespect Dame's rap career like that, man.
I'm sorry.
That's what we do, bro.
So if Dame Lillard did a versus, who would he be up against? Not Vanilla Ice?
He doesn't have a catalog like that to be in a versus number right now. But if we got to pick somebody, let's give one of these new boys.
Oh, he got to get one of the new boys.
I mean, it's right now. If you want to do a freestyle battle, you can give him Common. You can give him, whoever. Give him Common.
Big Mike, stop. You all right? You feeling okay? Did you say give Dame Lillard Common in a freestyle?
If Common is coming to Portland to watch him play, you gotta have some respect. Definitely gotta respect.
Oh man, it must be hot up there. Has it gotten hot up there?
I mean, it's in the like 90s out here, but it ain't too bad.
Hey man, turn your air conditioner on, bro. Turn your air conditioner on, cause you said next thing you know, you'll be telling me that Dame Lillard could beat, I don't know, I don't know. Biz Marquis or somebody. Who?
I said MVP.
Oh, come on, stop, Dame. I mean, stop, Mike. Mike, let's quit playing. Can Dame Lillard and them beat James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Daniel House? Can he beat that group right there?
So who's gonna stop Yusuf Nurkic, Hassan Whiteside, Slim Carmelo, and CJ McCollum?
Ain't nobody worried about CJ McCullough and Melo. I mean, first of all, Melo's 208 years old.
Bruh, y'all gonna watch him tonight. You know he's got a vendetta against Houston because the way they did him. So you know he's gonna come out ready. You know he's gonna come out ready. This is must win for Portland. They understand what's at stake. They understand what needs to be done, and they're down there to do a job.
Man, you better be glad I don't have my phone, because if I had my phone, I would play. They're playing basketball. This ain't no grudge match, man. Melo is not going to be able to make the ball go in the hole more than he was before, because now I'm going to give it to you. He got treated wrong, dirty, and bad all at the same time here in Houston. I will give that to you. But he ain't going to go off for 50.
We don't need 50 for him. All we need 18 to 21 from Melo. He give us 18 to 21. We good. We know what we get from Dame. We know what we get. Well, CJ kind of hit and miss. I ain't gonna lie. Let's call that what it is. But I think the biggest change is Yusuf Nurkic being back. He is in a lot. He came back looking a lot better than I think anybody expected him to. He's expanded his game. He lost a few pounds, and he's still able to get down low and beat up on some people.
Now notice, and I know you peeped those things that I say, and I do. Notice I left your whole big man out of it, because we ain't got nothing to go with y'all's big man. Your front line is formidable no matter who's playing them. And like you said, Nurkic is healthy. Whiteside was a nice fill-in. So you got height on top of height, size on top of size, even coming off the bench. And I'm concerned about that. But what the Rockets have been able to do late in games is hang around long enough to force teams to try and match up with them late in the fourth quarter, and then they pulling out these games.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, watch what they did against Milwaukee. That was I didn't expect Houston to be in that game to play as long as they were, and to see them force Milwaukee to play a brand of basketball that they're not comfortable with. That's the one concern I have tonight against Portland. With Portland, they made the necessary adjustments against Boston. Boston came out. It was 11 from 18 from 3 in the first half. That forced them to go smaller, which ended up working out. But I mean, it's James Harden, and I was just on my podcast this past week and said we got to give James Harden a little bit more respect for who he is in the NBA. I think because you can think, oh, he's gonna dribble, shoot. But if you really look at his game and what he does to an offense, what he does to a defense, it changes the way you think about basketball. It changes the way that if you got a defensive coordinator as a coach, or you got a coach that's like the defense, he gives you headaches. So we got to start respecting him more. I've always had question marks about Russell Westbrook. I still have question marks about Russell Westbrook. I love his intensity. I love the way he plays the game. But he can take you out of the game real quick.
Wait a minute, hold on, man. Your phone is muffled or something, man. Did you say you got questions about Russell Westbrook?
I've always had questions about Russell Westbrook. Always.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on. Big Mike, for real, man. We had Dr. Aki all but fall out on the show last Thursday. I was ready to send paramedics over to his house. He better be glad I didn't have his address, or I would have sent them over. What's your address, man, so I can get somebody to come check on you?
I'm perfectly fine.
Did you say you concerned about Russell Westbrook?
He'll take you out of the game so quick. My concern with him is that he gets into this mode of I need to get a basket, I need to get a bucket, and he continues to shoot on even when he's off. That is my concern with him, and his shot selection. Sometimes we can all agree it's not the greatest.
Wait a minute. I'm just trying to. Did you see the Milwaukee game?
2 games. That's 1 game.
Well, they only playing, but Big Mike, they only playing 8, and they already They're already locking them down now. You know, the Lakers locked down the whole number 1 seed in the playoffs after what, week 2 of the restart, week 3.
Lakers going home in the first round when they have to play Portland. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Well, now, and you know what? All joking aside, if I'm the Lakers, I want to play anybody in round 1 but Portland. I especially this Portland. I'm going to give you credit. Now that Nurkic is back, now that they got some guys healthy, it's a whole different team. I give you that. They're not a number 8 seed. But that being said, you know, man, Russ is balling. Russ has been the guy that has kept the Rockets in there, because if you want to talk about Click City, it's Harden. Harden is going to put up 50 shots just to score 20. You know, 60 shots to score 30.
Which is true. I think Houston's biggest problem tonight is they're going to miss Eric Gordon. I think we underestimate the loss of Eric Gordon. They're going to miss him tonight because Portland is – Dame is going to get his – we know it. Like the Dame is going to get his 30. CJ is going to get his, 20 to 22. But it's that middle, and they're going to need that. They're going to miss that extra punch because those guys are going to have to work tonight. CJ Tucker will have to play some defense on Nurk. Who's they starting? Who they starting at the 4?
Hold on a second. Somebody trying to call in here and get in with us. I don't think they like your takes. Hold on. Let me get somebody in here. I think they're coming for you, Big Mike. Hold on. Let me see who this is. Hello, you live on the lunch break. Who's this? You're on with AJ and Big Mike.
AJ, what's going on, man? This is Kevin Victor.
Hey, Kevin. What's going on, man? Long time no talk to Mr. Smoke Box Barbecue himself, Kevin Victor. What's going on, bro?
Hey, man, I've been listening to you every day. I'm working from home. I only have an hour for lunch. I'm on my lunch now, but I mean, I was talking about the game tonight, so I felt inclined to call in.
Yeah, man, go soft on Big Mike. He ain't feeling well today, man. But go soft on him, man. Don't hit him with a slab of ribs right now. Go ahead, Big Mike.
Well, one thing about Westbrook, and every team don't have a player like Westbrook where the only person that can stop Russell Westbrook is himself. Like there's no particular defender, in my opinion, that can stop him. He has to stop himself. Now, as far as the game goes, it's going to come down to two things, in my opinion. And one of those is not offense, because the offense is going to shine through either way on both teams. It's who's going to have the better perimeter defense and whose game is going to shine. Is the Portland big man going to shine, or is D'Antoni going to force Portland to play that small man game? Because if, there's so many games I'm watching the Rockets and I'm thinking, okay, this team's getting ready to this team is getting ready to force D'Antoni to put in a bigger lineup. But D'Antoni, he stick to that small lineup, like he sticks to his birth mother. I mean, he never lets it go. So is he going to force Portland to sit all those big men down and play a smaller lineup? So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Because D'Antoni is back being D'Antoni. He ain't going past 8 deep on his rotation. If Eric Gordon was playing, he would go 9 deep. But man, you look at the Clippers; they go 6, 7 deep in their bench. So if the guys in that top 8 rotation are off, especially when it comes to those big men, I don't know if D'Antoni has somewhere else to go. And that's the concern I have with Portland tonight. And Big Mike can speak to that. I know that the Rockets don't match up well with the bigs from Portland.
Well, we saw Boston force Portland to go small. And that's where we had to come in with Gary Trent Jr., who had the game of his career. And we came back. Went from down 24 up 5. So I think Portland is very capable of going small. I just don't see Houston having a stop, even if Portland's only playing one of those bigs. I don't see them stopping either one of them.
Yeah, and Kevin, when you look at the matchup, you got Harden, you got Westbrook, you got Covington, you got House, and then you go on PJ Tucker. Bruh, it's a little lean.
You know what it is? But listen, I got to give props to PJ Tucker, man, because he plays, 4 and 5 position But I'm looking at the 7-footers trying to post up on them, and they're not moving them. And I'm like, this man is playing with so much heart, man, and he's so strong.
Yeah, you know what? All joking aside, Big Mike and Kevin, if I'm PJ Tucker, I might hold out for like the rest of the playoffs and say, listen, y'all better pay me like I'm a 5. Y'all better pay me like I'm Shaq or somebody and give me my dimes because, man, that dude is holding it down like he's 7'2".
Oh, he definitely does. Right. He definitely plays a lot bigger than his size for sure. And that's been a welcome surprise, I'm sure, for D'Antoni, especially on defense. But as we talk about this bubble, and we talk about getting deeper into the playoffs and stuff like that, it's what they're doing sustainable. I feel they're in the same boat as Portland, where they haven't played this lineup that long.
Yeah,
you know, they got Covington right before Corona happened.
Yeah,
Portland, we were expecting Nurk to come back, and we got shut down. So pretty much both these teams are kind of still, in a sense, experimenting.
Yeah, Kevin, what's your prediction on the night, man?
Oh, it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I got the Rockets pulling it out in the fourth quarter, like they did the last 2 games. Well, the first game went into overtime, but I got them pulling it out late in the fourth quarter.
Okay, all right. Well, we look, keep your phone on, man. So I hit you up and say, "Bruh, what happened?"
Yeah, yeah. My phone stay on for you, AJ.
All right, I appreciate it. Hey, tell the wife, the family, and your amazing sister-in-law, the soon to be judge, that we said what's up from the lunch break. All right?
Yeah, I will, man. She told me, she texted me about a few weeks ago, said she had a conversation with you, man. So I appreciate y'all your support and your love towards her, man. You're invited to the next barbecue, man. No charge.
Oh, bro, I appreciate it because your family is my family, man, and I'm looking forward to winning and bring it on in.
Yes, sir. We appreciate your support.
All right, no problem. Kevin Victor, y'all check him out. That is, in fact, I got his link in the body of the show as well for Victor Smoke Box Barbecue and Catering. So y'all be sure to check him out as well. Kevin, y'all be safe out there, man.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, man. Let me come back to you, Big Mike. Big Mike, they killing you on social media, man. They killing you on social media. Donna Coleman Holman said, AJ Jones, please delete Big Mike. I can't today. Uh-oh, I done lost you. Big Mike, you there? I done hung up. Big Mike, I hung up on you. Call me back, man. Please. My bad. That was me. I hit the wrong button too many times. All right, there you go. All right, my bad, man. I promise you I didn't mean to do you like that. But yeah, Donna Coleman Holman told me to delete you. She said she can't with you today.
It's just nothing but it's unbiased truth for me. That's all it is.
Well, I asked Kevin Victor what he thought for tonight. Give me your honest breakdown of what you think is going to happen tonight.
I got Portland winning. Let's just be right there. I got to go in one of 2 ways. I think it's either going to be it's going to be a big win for Portland, where we're talking guys are sitting in the fourth, or it's going to come down to a back and forth game and Portland pull it out in the end, specifically because of those bigs. I think those bigs are going to be too much for Houston, and they don't have anybody to come in to combat that.
Yeah, no, I seriously, that's my biggest concern tonight is the bigs. When I look at Harden and Lillard, they cancel each other out. 34 points a game, 29 points a game for Lillard. When I look at Westbrook and McCallum, they balance each other out. You got 27 points a game, 28 points a game for Westbrook. You got 23 points a game for McCallum. If you go Melo, Melo's got the slight edge over Covington, 13 points a game for Covington, 15 for Melo, and then that's where I leave it. I can't give PJ Tucker an edge over Nurkic. I just can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play good defense, but typically when Tucker has to expend himself defensively, he's a liability offensively. So now it's got to come down to who's going to be on some of the other guys. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Who do you give the edge to the bench, Rockets or Portland?
That's a great question. For me, the bench is a toss-up. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. went from not getting a lot of minutes in the past to getting a lot of minutes to bathroom model on the way down, and now he's looking like one of the best players in the bubble right now.
Yeah.
But outside of that, Hassan Whiteside, he was hitting this first game. The last game he looked okay. But outside of that, Portland's only been going about 8 deep, and then they've been playing Mario Hezonja for whatever reason. I think it's a toss-up with the bench. It's kind of, then you go to Houston, you got Austin Rivers over there, who can, at any point in time, he can still get hot.
Right.
However you feel about him, I've watched him play since high school, and he's always been able to score. So you got him, you got Jeff Green. I saw they started playing him more. I'm looking at stuff. Damari Carroll sitting on the bench.
You know, they don't have a lot of faith in Damari Carroll, and I'm a little concerned about that. They don't have a lot of faith in him. They're not giving him any minutes. I'm not so surprised that they're not doing anything with Luke Mbamute. You know, he's still trying to get his lungs together from COVID. So, you know, they're not going to go past 8 on that bench. You know, not any sizable minutes.
I think both teams. And, I mean, they're not really – I mean, for Houston, they're playing, I guess, for who they're going to play in the first round. But Portland is playing for life, playoff life right now.
Right.
I think Portland is going to come out. I mean, it's just kind of like the Lakers. My prediction before the bubble started with the Lakers was that they're going to come out, play hard that first game, but after that, they're just going to kind of coast. And I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, LeBron is just, he's in that mode of, let me see what I got. And I think that's the same with a lot of these teams where they know we're secure, especially in the top echelon of the West. We're secure where we're at right now. So you see Memphis, Portland, Utah, San Antonio, even San Antonio, surprising that they're in the mix right now. You see those 3-4 teams really fighting right now for those last 2 spots that the 8 and that 9 can play in.
Yeah, that's what gets me is that San Antonio, I didn't give them a chance, especially when LaMarcus Aldridge went down. And they balling out right now. I mean, they literally are, save for a 3-pointer with less than 7 seconds to play, they got a shot to win that game last night. So they literally could have started out 3-0 on this.
They could have made this pretty bad for us up here in Portland, that's for sure.
Yeah, all joking aside. The team that I really thought was going to play a little bit better was Memphis. And they've kind of surprised me as to how – is it youth? What do you think the deal is with Memphis, the way they've handled this restart?
I think it's youth. I think it's not having that presence in the locker room that could calm them. I said that I would have hoped that they would have kept Andre Iguodala, somebody who's been in the playoffs, who knows how to win championships. And not having that, to me, has been an issue. And, I mean, they got a rookie coach who's new, who's been great. I mean, obviously, John Morant, Dylan Brooks, even Jaren Jackson Jr. has been great in the restart as well, too. But it's just youth. And you can't be mad at the youth movement, but you can't at the same time I would say Memphis has surpassed their own expectations.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I had David Grubb on last week, and he mentioned that literally next season we could be looking at a total shift in power in the West with teams like Memphis, with teams like Dallas, with teams like New Orleans, and and I'm talking about youth movement. So even Oklahoma City is young and athletic, what have you. I mean, that literally could be the new top 4 in the West, and then all the folks we have now fighting for 5 through 8. What do you think about the youth movement in the West compared to what we're seeing right now?
I love it. I think it's time. For me, I feel like we have. It's just kind of like when Michael Jordan came to his end of his career of who's going to be next. Oh, we got Kobe Bryant, we got Shaq, we got all these guys, and I think the NBA is in good hands. The NBA is definitely in good hands.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what a lot of these guys do with that expanded coverage. With give me 1 second here. Got all kind of stuff going on. My bad. With
no problem.
Getting more airtime, getting in front of a lot more people, getting a lot more attention. Because right now, we see a lot of LeBron. We see a lot of soon see Anthony Davis because he's still relatively young. But it'll be good. I mean, I was thinking about the East as you were talking about too. Atlanta, super young team, talented team. They got Clint Capella down there, who's a big dimension. They got John Collins. They got Trae Young, who's Steph Curry 2.0.
Yep. You see any resurgence from Golden State? We got Big Mike joining us real quick. He's just knows sports, football coach and that, but he knows sports, and I'm glad to have him tuning in from near the Portland area. Do you see a resurgence coming with the Golden State Warriors when Steph gets back healthy, Clay gets back healthy, and now Draymond doesn't have to appease Kevin Durant? Obviously, they got to put pieces around that, but do you see a resurgence coming from them?
Now, you want to talk about a franchise who has been blessed and highly favored is Golden State. I mean, if you just think back to how they got Kevin Durant with Steph Curry being injured early in his career, and now we're at a point where they all just got a year off after this run. Long story short, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a real possibility just from people I've talked to in the Bay Area, because I used to go back and forth so much. There's a real possibility, and in their mind, there's a real thought that they're going to get Giannis.
Yeah.
They really think they're going to get Giannis or Bradley Beal. They really think that they're getting one of those two guys.
Wait a minute. Let me holler out real quick. I am Valencia King. Got on. Yes, Warriors coming back, baby. I can't disagree with her, man. Especially the way the league is set up right now, where you don't have a big three or a big four. Golden State, literally, depending upon the pieces they put around their quote-unquote big three and how healthy those guys stay, bruh, I'm just saying it could get ugly again, because say what you want to say about them, those three dudes can fill it up on any given night.
Exactly. And especially if you let them, like I said, you let them get a piece, because they're going to land a top 3 draft pick. And you got to think about a team like Washington. What good is it for them to hold on to Bradley Beal?
Yeah.
Or if you think about Milwaukee, if Milwaukee messes this thing up, and I think this bubble is perfectly right for them to win it, if they mess this up and they even get that inkling that Giannis might leave, and they look at, I can get Draymond a top 3 pick and, something else for Giannis, I'd have to consider that. And that's going to give Golden State another monster with the game that Steph Curry plays. Steph Curry's got a game where he can play till he's 40.
Yeah, that's true.
He just turned 32. Like I said, they've got a year off. All of this got a year off to recover, rejuvenate, to do whatever it is they need to get their bodies right for next season.
When you look at how long Ray played, Jesus Shuttlesworth, he got game.
Yep.
When you look at how long, I'm telling you, right, Steph Curry can play a while. You know who else had kind of had the injury bug hit him? But when that dude was healthy, man, there was nobody more fun to watch than Kevon Looney. I mean it, man. I love his
great
game.
energy.
I'm telling you, man. So now watch this. You got a healthy Steph Curry. You got a healthy Klay Thompson. You got a healthy and even keel Draymond Green and Kevin Looney. And then you can put somebody else out there, bruh. All right, whoever's gonna win it this year, they better go on and win it, because it might get locked down again for a little while.
Or even if they keep that number 1 pick. And in my opinion, I said it last week on another podcast, they should go get LaMelo Ball. Why not? Why not let Steph Curry and Clay play off the ball full time?
Let me say this, and I'm gonna say it I'm gonna say it from my throat and from my chest. If the New York Knicks don't get LaMelo Ball, they don't want to win. They don't want to win. I'm serious when I say that. If the Knicks miss out on LaMelo, just make Jim Dolan sell the team, because they don't want to even try to win. If they let LaMelo go West Coast and not get him on that East Coast, and I'm talking about either Brooklyn, well, they ain't going to Brooklyn because Kyrie's there. But, if he don't go to Brooklyn or New York, man, I'm through both of them.
Well, Dolan's got a track history that's not so good at all anyway. So at this point, nothing that happens to New York is a surprise to me when it comes to him. I mean, he lost out on LeBron, Dwayne Wade in 2010. So they think with him bringing in Worldwide West, who's a big time basketball guy, former agent, that he's gonna, and the new GM, they're gonna be able to attract that talent. But there's nobody big coming up in the next few years. It's, that those big free agents, they're not coming up anytime soon.
Right, that's true. Real quick, Valencia King, host of Real Talk Sports and The Dialogue. I'm going to be checking that out later on this evening. She said, I heard y'all talking about the Spurs and they're surprising people. Any thoughts on the Suns starting 2-0 in this reboot?
You know what? I got to put some respect on the Suns' name because I definitely got on my podcast and was asking my coach, why are they even there? To be honest, I know mathematically they're still in it, but I was like, Suns, the Wizards, the Kings, San Antonio, what's the point? Again, another team, we talk about youth movement, another team, and I keep forgetting that they got a coach out there, Monty Williams, who I really, really like.
Love Monty, man. Love Monty.
He spent some time out here in Portland. He was really great in the community out here. Especially since he spent time with Popovich. So, any coach coming from that tree is definitely going to do good things. You got to watch out for them next year, too. I think Ricky Rubio is the point guard that they needed that they didn't have.
Right.
It'll take some pressure off Devin Booker. If DeAndre Ayton can get it together and stay out of the news, I think they can go. That's a formidable big three.
Why does DeAndre Ayton remind me mentally of Boogie Cousins? Why do I feel like they related somewhere mentally?
A little correlation there, yeah. I mean, he's doing. I mean, 30 game suspension for, something you don't need to be doing.
Right. Yeah.
But no, another good young team with a great coach out there. Somebody we definitely got to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Man. So I think I like what the NBA is doing from a organization and a health standpoint. I like that they've already come out saying that they're going to be looking to do this bubble environment next year. If things don't change, what are your thoughts and feelings about the NFL and college needing to have some kind of bubble type environment? I'm not even going to include baseball, but what do you? Yeah, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I would like to say I'm one of the biggest football fans you would ever be. I think they need to cancel college until they can get this right. It's not even about the whole NCAA and the payment, the money thing is one issue, but the fact that these players can't even get proper treatment, they have to be any COVID-related illnesses are up to them right now. I've spoken to athletes that I know. I told them, I said, if this is how y'all getting treated, don't play.
Yeah.
Like, they just need to do what's best for the players right now. I get the whole money thing, and I get this, that, and the other, but sometimes you got to put human life first.
Right.
So we tend to forget in these big-time sports. Shut college down in the NFL. Until they get Roger Goodell up out of there and a couple other people, I don't think they're ever going to get it right when it comes to putting the players first. Yeah, I can't say that. I don't want to see those guys play and put their lives on the line just because they feel like they have to. I get you got to take care of your family, but I would hate to see them doing that. Next, you got a situation like baseball.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, you got a player who, if you think about the physical strain you're putting in your body playing football, and to put something like COVID into your system, there's nothing positive that can come from that.
Yeah. Yeah, Big Mike's a high school football coach, so I definitely value his opinion on what they should do with the high school and the college level. What bothers me, Big Mike, and I'm just going to go all the way off real quick, the NFL $12 to $15 billion organization. They're not a nonprofit, so they didn't spend all their money except for $2 million from last year, like maybe UT or somebody else did. You mean to tell me y'all didn't have sense enough to even explore the idea of using someplace like the Greenbrier over in West Virginia that already has about a 2,000, 3,000 room facility and underground tunnels. And I mean, for Christ's sake, that was one of the places where the government would continue to go if there's some type of nuclear disaster. You mean to tell me you couldn't use some of that money and built some other fields out there for y'all to run multiple games with camera crews at the same time and have a bubble type environment? Did Roger Goodell get too big for himself against this COVID-19 virus?
Yes. I mean, and you look at it too. I mean, let's just take the situation in Washington. Until it starts hitting their pockets, the NFL's not going to move.
Yeah. I
think it's safe enough to say that now. And Roger Goodell, I mean, from day one that he's been in office, has he done anything that people like? He hasn't been favorable at all.
He's done stuff that the owners love. And that's who's paying his bills. So there you go.
So that's what he's going to continue to appease. And the NFL, too, I mean, another thing I was thinking about, too, is that if you think about just the rosters alone, you're talking about 55 players. You're talking about the staff. You're talking about a traveling party of 200 people close to. You have to take into account somebody's going to get this.
Right.
So it's inevitable. If you're talking about a travel party, 200 and players, coaches, medical staff, and I'm seeing like the NBA, certain teams got photographers, just people down there for like media, purposes. You're talking about 150, 200 people. It's inevitable that someone's going to get this. You got to think, okay, how do we get prepared? And then we're talking about referees. We're talking about there's just so many variables with football that either they shorten that season and go play at a location like that, or I said maybe they need to look at having like 4 to 6 different bubbles because it's just so many people involved that it's inevitable somebody's going to get it. And how do you combat that? To me, it looks like, for instance, with baseball, they just don't care.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because Rob Manfred had the nerve to say, "I'm not a quitter." Rob, it ain't about you. I mean, I don't understand how your not being a quitter is not helping the St. Louis Cardinals, and they got 13 new cases. It's not helping the Miami Marlins, and they got over 20 cases. It's not helping that.
I mean, it's the same situation. Same situation. You've probably dealt with at your church. It's not we want to get back into church, but it's not about us. Right. We got to take into account our old. I'm blessed that I'm of that quote unquote group that if I get it, I'll be okay. But I got to think about my moms and my dad.
Come on, man.
Senior citizens in the church that I know and love, and grandparents that are around and stuff like that. It's not if it's not forcing you to think about everybody around you, you're doing something wrong. And Roger Goodell, I would assume he's got Adam Silver's phone number. I assume so.
Yeah.
Call him up. Hey, I need some advice.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with some landscaping crews. How fast can y'all build 5 football fields? I need 5 football fields over there in West Virginia. I need we need to add some rooms on to the existing facility. What have, bruh? You got the ends to do that, and I don't know. I feel like it's pride or maybe listening to bad advice. If y'all don't do that, man, and it goes wrong, I'm gonna say I told you so. I'm gonna say
it's gonna take Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Donald, D Hop, Adrian Peterson,
J.J. Watt,
J.J. Watt, Whitley Merciless. It's gonna take some Julio Jones. It's gonna take some of these guys to stand up and say, you know what, we love this game, but we can't do this right now.
Right.
It's gonna take something like that for it to happen. For them to say, oh, maybe we should figure this out. I mean, if they got to, listen, we all love football in the fall, but if they got to say, no, we're not going to start till January, so we're going to take the time to figure this thing out, great.
Yeah.
Or some of these guys are going to play for the Rock in the S.F.L., then problem solved.
Man, don't get me started, because if the Rock called me, I got some ideas, bro. We building a new league, but we head hunting too. We head hunting. Big Mike, real quick before we go, obviously the Pac-12 has a real serious movement going on with the players. Talk about that for a second, what you know about that, and then talk to us about what Washington State is saying to their players, because we're getting word that Washington State's coach is coming after a couple of players being a part of that movement. And if we gotta start helping these young kids with some Cash App money and stuff like that, then let us do what we got to do.
Yeah, so basically what's going on the West Coast is 11 of the 12 Pac-12 schools outside of Colorado, they have come together with almost forming like a PAC, like their own players union. And they're saying because we're not getting treated right when it comes to equality, when it comes to COVID-related expenses, when it comes to not being able to license our naming and stuff, we refuse to play football in the fall. And they have went to the commissioner and they have some specific asks, and they're make sure we're taking care of when it comes to our health is the biggest one. They're looking for some type of monies for some specific things that they haven't, at least the reports I've seen haven't been specific to what they want funds for. But the biggest thing is that college players are as of right now, they have to, any COVID-related expenses when it comes to sickness, they're responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, these kids don't have time to have a job to take care of nothing.
Yep.
So Washington State's new coach, they're not saying it's the head coach, but I've seen reports that have said it was Nick Rolovich, who just came in saying, if you're going to join this movement, it's going to be a problem. It's not a good look for him. It's not a good look for him right now. If he gets fired, if he gets fired in the next week or so. I wouldn't be surprised. But these players are pushing for equality and treatment and fair treatment, and it's 100% needed. And I need my boys in the SEC to jump on board with them.
Yeah,
it's a little different down there.
Yeah,
but I think it's going to take a united effort of all these Power 5 schools to come together. And these players know each other.
Yep.
It's going to have to be a collective effort because let's just say the Pac-12 don't play football this year for this reason. It's not really a big deal. Let's just worldwide. It'll be a big deal out here, but we still got Texas, Big 12 playing, SEC playing, Big 10 playing. Won't be as big of a deal, but if all 5 Power 5s come together, they'll get something done.
Yeah. Somebody will listen to that. Somebody will definitely listen to that. Big Mike, man, I appreciate you making the time to jump on here at a moment's notice, man. You are the dude. I appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, man.
Most definitely. You can find me on find my podcast on Apple, Spotify, Unpopular Opinion Sports Podcast. As you can tell, my opinions are very unpopular by a lot of people's eyes. Find me on there. Find me on Twitter, Unpop0509. That's where you find me during the week. And you'll find me online tonight. As this game is going on, probably tweeting AJ talking about what's going on.
Man, come get some, bro. Come get some. You got my number. Bring it, man. I'll find my phone around here somewhere. But, hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I got to check out the podcast. Like I say, drop me some links or something like that so I can tag it in the deal. And we make sure we get everybody giving you the love and the support like we do Kelsey Nelson, like we do David Grubb, Valencia King. I'm about loving, man. I'm about loving. Our folks have been down for too long. At least we going to know what we doing. So I promise you, man, I'm going to put the word out there for you, all right?
My man, I appreciate you.
All right, Big Mike, thanks, man. Be safe out there, okay?
You too, AJ.
All right, man. Again, that's Big Mike Riggins, man. Y'all do me a favor, follow him, check out what he's doing, and give him a lot of love. Give him a lot of love, and I mean that sincerely. All right, listen, we got to get ready to go. Sybil Wilkes is going to do her thing in a minute, but let me go ahead and get out of the way right now, get her ready. Sybil Wilkes is going to give you a coronavirus update, as well as Donnie McClurkin will be up after that with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff Get Up Mornings. Again, that is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., and then your boy will be back with Winning Wednesday. Also, let me remind you, the National Association of Black Journalists is going to be going on this week, and I'm going to try and bring you some excerpts and some live feed from the conference where appropriate. So if you've ever been interested in, what black journalists, what it takes to be a journalist, or that kind of stuff, we'll be bringing you those kind of excerpts and updates from the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. It'll be going on in Washington, D.C., and I'll be bringing you stuff from that. It'll be tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. But also got some very special guests. They're going to be joining us tomorrow. In fact, one is definitely going to give us some updates from the conference, and then I got a great lineup for you on Friday. So be sure and stick with us this week. But you know what I say? As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. Big update real quick. Brooklyn is leading Milwaukee 73-65 in NBA action. Dallas is trailing Sacramento 17-11 in the first quarter. So there you go, a little quick update. Again, nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands for 30 seconds or more, sanitize everything around you, and be sensitive to everybody around you. Give folks 6 feet. And whatever you do, when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed.
Come on, love can change.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. Negotiations on a COVID-19 relief bill are set to resume, but the path forward is challenging. The White House is seeking opportunities to boost Donald Trump through another round of $1,200 stimulus payments and extending the supplemental jobless benefits. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she needs money for state and local governments, unemployment benefits, and food aid. Philadelphia Eagles head coach Doug Peterson has tested positive for COVID-19 and is currently in self-quarantine. Last month, Commissioner Roger Goodell canceled the preseason out of an abundance of caution. Current and former CEOs of some of the biggest U.S. companies like Starbucks, Disney, and Walmart are urging Congress to swiftly provide more aid to small businesses. Allowing small businesses to fail, they argue, could be catastrophic to the U.S. economy. Please visit SybillWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, y'all. Wanted to get that in. So, hey, man, I really enjoyed the show. What great stuff today from Garrick Jones, from JT Anderson, and from Big Mike Riggins, and even with Kevin Victor calling in. So, y'all, again, every one of their links will be in the body of the intro. And I really want y'all to support and follow these guys and young ladies, because they're doing an amazing job. And Lunch Breakers, I really do. I appreciate the family that y'all are creating around this show and around those that come on the show. So can't do it without y'all. You know, like this shirt says, hashtag not your enemy. So y'all take care. Y'all be safe out there. Be blessed. Y'all know not this, but this. I do. I love y'all. And I want y'all to stay safe. All right. Take care, y'all.